What if your favorite celebrity wasn't just a modern icon, but a mirror of someone who lived 100 years ago? What if those piercing eyes, that unforgettable smile, or even that signature attitude had already walked the earth long before Hollywood existed? From Civil War soldiers who look like movie stars, to queens, revolutionaries, and even criminals with faces that seem ripped straight from today's red carpets, these 50 celebrities with historical doppelgangers from history look so similar to their doppelgangers, it's almost as if they reincarnated, and it will leave you questioning everything. Let's start with the ones that no one can explain. No names, no backstories. Just a photo, a face, and an unsettling resemblance that feels impossible to ignore. Take Nicolas Cage, for example. A photo surfaced of a Civil War soldier with Cage's exact face. Same sharp features, same intense eyes, even the same moody expression. The resemblance was so uncanny that people started joking Cage was a vampire or a time traveler. And honestly, looking at that photo, it's hard to argue. Then there's Eddie Murphy, whose twin seems to have lived in the early 1900s. The old photograph shows a man with Murphy's unmistakable grin and facial structure, almost as if someone photoshopped the actor into a sepia-tone snapshot. Fans were quick to point out the eerie coincidence, especially since Murphy has a habit of playing characters across eras. Maybe he's been doing it for real. Matthew McConaughey also has a mysterious double, this time from the late 1800s. In a faded photograph, a rugged man with the same easygoing confidence, the same scruffy style, and even the same mustache stares back at the camera. The likeness is so vivid, you can almost hear him mutter, "All right, all right, all right," from another century. And now let's talk about Keanu Reeves, who's been at the center of a wild internet theory for years, that he's immortal. And honestly, the theory doesn't seem so far-fetched when you look at a photo of a man from the 1800s who looks exactly like him. Same facial structure, same calm intensity, and the same timeless aura. Combine that with the fact that Keanu doesn't seem to age, and you've got yourself a case that still has fans buzzing. But maybe the most bizarre one of all is Justin Timberlake, not because he has a lookalike, but because he has two. One is an unidentified criminal from the 1800s, whose mugshot looks eerily like Timberlake during a serious photo shoot. Same jawline, same eyes, even the same expression. And what makes it weirder is how the old mugshot has this strange defiance in it, something Timberlake himself has shown in his more intense roles. But that's just the start, because some of these doppelgangers aren't mysterious figures at all. In fact, they're legends in their own right. Sometimes, the resemblance isn't just skin deep, it feels symbolic. Like today's stars are channeling the creative spirits of history's great thinkers and visionaries. Start with Brad Pitt and Hermann Rorschach, the Swiss psychiatrist behind the famous ink blot test. When you place their photos side by side, the resemblance is undeniable. Sharp cheekbones, intense gaze, and a thoughtful energy that seems to cut right through the camera. It's as if Pitt, known for roles that explore the mind and human nature, inherited Rorschach's penetrating stare. Then there's Orlando Bloom, whose historical twin is Romanian painter Nicolae Grigorescu. Both men share soft features, expressive eyes, and a calm, almost poetic presence. Grigorescu captured rural landscapes with emotional depth, and Bloom? He's known for roles that carry a quiet strength. It's not hard to imagine them connected across time, one with a brush, the other with a sword. Rose McGowan also has a twin from Hollywood's golden age, Hedy Lamarr. But Lamarr wasn't just a glamorous actress. She was an inventor whose ideas helped pave the way for Wi-Fi. And McGowan, known for her bold outspokenness, shares not only Lamarr's classic beauty but her disruptive spirit. Their high cheekbones and intense eyes only make the connection more jarring. And what about Shia LaBeouf and a young Albert Einstein? Sounds absurd, until you see the photos. A young Einstein, with unruly hair and that curious half-smiling stare, looks startlingly similar to LaBeouf during his more introspective years. Both men share that chaotic genius energy, the kind that doesn't fit neatly into a box. Lastly, there's Paul Giamatti, who seems to be the modern reincarnation of William Shakespeare. Their facial structure, nearly identical. Their expressive eyes, uncannily matched. Giamatti's ability to embody deeply human, tragic characters feels like it was born straight from Shakespeare's quill. But while these stars resemble artists and thinkers, others look like they've stepped right out of a history book, wearing crowns or commanding armies. Some celebrity lookalikes go beyond coincidence. They mirror the faces of power. Kings, presidents, and revolutionaries whose legacies shaped the world, and whose features seem to live on in modern stars. Start with Alec Baldwin and President Millard Fillmore, the 13th President of the United States. When you line up Baldwin's headshots with portraits of Fillmore, the overlap is eerie. The same strong jaw, intense eyes, and stern yet approachable expression. If Baldwin ever played Fillmore in a film, he wouldn't even need prosthetics. It's not just a match in face, it's a match in presence. Then there's Mark Zuckerberg and King Philip IV of Spain. One ruled a kingdom, the other built a tech empire, and yet, their resemblance is uncanny. Pale skin, angular face, a distant, calculating stare. Look at a portrait of Philip IV, and it almost feels like Zuckerberg had a past life on the Spanish throne. Quiet power in both, just centuries apart. Zayn Malik, known for his moody intensity and enigmatic vibe, looks almost identical to a young Joseph Stalin, long before the infamy. Early photos of Stalin show a striking man with sharp features, thick hair, and piercing eyes, the kind of face that draws attention. It's a jarring comparison, especially considering how drastically their lives diverged, but visually, they could pass as brothers. Then there's Ted Cruz, whose historical twin is Congressman Thomas Burkill, photographed in 1943. The similarity is so close that side-by-side comparisons have gone viral. Same brow, same smirk, same oddly timeless look. It's one of those doppelgängers that makes people do a double take, not just because of how much they look alike, but because the energy feels familiar too. And finally, Queen Latifah and literary icon Zora Neale Hurston. This one isn't just facial structure, it's essence. Hurston, a pioneering black writer and anthropologist during the Harlem Renaissance, shares Latifah's confident presence, strong cheekbones, and expressive eyes. When placed side by side, the resemblance is more than visual. It's cultural, creative, and powerful. And while these celebrities resemble rulers and leaders, some look like they crossed even more invisible lines, bending time, gender, and everything in between. Now here's where things take a strange twist, because not every celebrity doppelganger fits neatly into gender or era. Some lookalikes cross boundaries that make the resemblance even more bizarre. Take Leonardo DiCaprio and a woman named Judy Zipper, captured in a 1960s yearbook photo. With the same eyes, nose, and smirk, it's as if DiCaprio existed in another life, just in a completely different form. When the photo first surfaced, people couldn't believe how effortlessly the Oscar winner's face fit into that old black and white shot of a carefree teenage girl. Then there's Michael Cera and Clara Hitler, the mother of one of history's darkest figures. It's a comparison no one expected, but the resemblance is unsettling. Same soft features, same wide eyes, even the same timid expression. The two lived in completely different worlds, one raising a future dictator, the other starring in quirky comedies. But somehow, their faces are almost identical. And what about Tilda Swinton and David Bowie? This one's famous for good reason. Both known for their androgynous style, sharp bone structure, and haunting screen presence, the two seem to share more than just DNA. They feel like artistic soulmates born in different decades. Swinton has even portrayed Bowie in tribute roles, and when you see them side by side, it feels like looking at mirrored versions of the same mysterious being. And Hathaway also has a regal twin, the Duchess of Alba, immortalized in a late 1700s painting by Francisco Goya. The resemblance is stunning. High cheekbones, wide eyes, same intense stare. It's not just beauty, it's poise. Hathaway, known for her elegance and grace, fits right into the role of 18th century nobility without skipping a beat. And strangely enough, Justin Timberlake resurfaces, this time not as a rugged 1800s criminal, but as yet another unnamed man from a different historical photo. The fact that Timberlake seems to have not one but two old-world twins has only fueled fan theories that he's some kind of time-hopping icon, a pop star caught between centuries. But the rabbit hole doesn't end there, because some of the wildest resemblances come from the battlefield, where today's Hollywood faces seem to echo soldiers, generals, and war heroes long gone. It's one thing to resemble a poet or a painter, but when celebrities start mirroring war legends and battlefield icons, things get a little eerie. Let's start with John Travolta, whose doppelganger appears in a haunting black and white photo from the 1860s. The man, unidentified, dressed in period attire, has Travolta's exact face. Same piercing eyes, same jawline, same mysterious charm. It's the kind of resemblance that makes you pause, like Travolta stepped off the Grease set and straight into the Civil War. Then there's Bruce Willis, the no-nonsense action star we all know from Die Hard, and General Douglas MacArthur, one of the most formidable military leaders of World War II. Put their photos side by side, and it's all there. The intensity, the strong brow, the air of command. They're both tough, unflinching, and built for high-stakes drama. One fought fictional terrorists, the other shaped real-world history. Now shift to Peter Dinklage, and you'll find an uncanny likeness in Sebastian de Mora, a court dwarf immortalized in a 17th-century painting by Diego Velázquez. The expression, the posture, even the quiet dignity, they're nearly identical. While de Mora lived as a performer in the Spanish royal court, Dinklage has brought nobility and power to every role he's touched, especially as Tyrion Lannister in Game of Thrones. It's a resemblance that feels more like a connection. Sylvester Stallone, known for his grit and fighter's soul, looks shockingly like Pope Gregory IX, who led the Catholic Church through conflict and transformation in the 13th century. The portraits of Gregory show a man with Stallone's jawline, deep-set eyes, and the same unwavering stare. It's a bizarre mashup of boxer and pope, but the visual symmetry is undeniable. And then there's Win Butler, frontman of the Arcade Fire, the Red Baron, the World War I flying ace whose piercing stare and sharp features match Butler's stage persona. Some of these stars may never set foot on a battlefield, but their faces tell stories of conflict, legacy, and strength. And now, we pivot to the faces built for laughter, whose past lives might not have been so funny after all. They're the faces we associate with laughter, awkward moments, and comedic timing. But some of Hollywood's funniest people have doppelgängers who are anything but light-hearted. Zach Galifianakis, best known for his wild roles in The Hangover, bears a jaw-dropping resemblance to none other than Louis Vuitton, yes, the fashion icon. With the same round face, full beard, and intense stare, it's hard not to imagine Galifianakis in the 1800s, hand-stitching luxury trunks while cracking sarcastic jokes under his breath. It's a strange blend of haute couture and stand-up energy. Then there's Jimmy Fallon, known for his affable smile and late-night antics, who looks exactly like Mahir Kayan, a Turkish revolutionary from the 1970s. It's a strange comparison, one made more jarring by the contrast in personality. Kayan was a serious, committed political figure, while Fallon is all charm and giggles. But when you look at the photos, the hair, the jawline, even the gaze, it's unsettling. Conan O'Brien, with his towering height and trademark red hair, has a doppelganger in Marshall Henry Twitchell, a Reconstruction-era politician from the late 1800s. Twitchell was a Union officer and senator. Tall, pale, lanky, and serious. Put him in a modern suit, and you've basically got a time-traveling Conan ready to roast 19th-century politics on late-night TV. Steve Carell is another one. His doppelganger, a mysterious 19th-century gentleman with a calm smile and twinkling eyes, like a Victorian-era version of Michael Scott. The resemblance is so close, it sparked online theories that Carell may be a reincarnated charmer from a previous century. Even the slightly crooked smile lines up perfectly. And of course, Jack Black, comedy's wild card, shares his face with Paul Revere, the American patriot known for his legendary Midnight Ride. Revere's portraits show the same expressive eyes, mischievous smirk, and animated energy that make Black so unforgettable. If Paul Revere had ever shouted, "The British are coming," in song and dance, well, it probably would have sounded like Tenacious D. These comedic faces may make us laugh today, but their lookalikes from the past tell stories of revolutions, wars, and historical legacies. And now, we land in a space where music and mystery collide. Music is often called timeless, but in some cases, the musicians themselves look like they've literally stepped out of a different era. Their doppelgangers aren't just similar, they're like echoes from another lifetime. Let's start with Jay-Z, who has a twin in a Harlem Man photographed back in 1939. The photo, discovered in the archives of a Black Culture Research Center, shows a man with Jay-Z's same features: sharp jawline, relaxed posture, and an unmistakable confidence. The image sparked endless theories online, from reincarnation to family lineage. Whatever the explanation, the resemblance is jaw-dropping. Eminem shares his face with Harold Innis, a Canadian professor from the 1930s. Innis was a pioneer in communication theory, a deep thinker with a sharp gaze. When you line up his vintage photo next to Eminem's press shots, the structure, the stare, even the intensity is almost identical. One revolutionized academia, the other, music. Then there's Christina Aguilera, whose old Hollywood glamour mirrors that of Ginger Rogers, the iconic actress and dancer from the 1930s. High cheekbones, dazzling smile, classic elegance, it's all there. Whether twirling across a dance floor or belting out powerhouse vocals, both women carry a kind of magnetic energy that just feels timeless. Mark Ruffalo, known for his emotional depth and introspective screen presence, looks eerily similar to Vincent van Gogh. The Dutch painter's self-portraits show a face full of anguish, thought, and raw creativity, traits that Ruffalo seems to channel in his own performances. The resemblance is more than physical, it's soulful. And finally, Johnny Depp shares a face with Arthur Schopenhauer, the 19th-century German philosopher known for his bleak outlook and sharp mind. Wild hair, hollowed cheeks, intense stare, Schopenhauer looks like Depp during his most brooding roles. It's a match that blurs the line between tortured thinker and tortured artist. And with that, we've traveled through centuries, through war, royalty, revolution, comedy, and music, only to discover that faces, stories, and energy might just repeat themselves more often than we think. So what do we make of all this? Are these just coincidences? Or something deeper? Maybe it's just a trick of genetics, a rare echo in the pool of human features. Or maybe faces, like stories, repeat themselves for a reason. From Civil War soldiers who look like today's movie stars, to musicians who mirror painters, philosophers, and revolutionaries, the resemblance in some of these cases is just too strong to ignore. We've seen celebrities who match unknown figures from forgotten photos, and others who look like they could have ruled a kingdom or led an army. Some resemblances are light and fun. Others are strange, even unsettling. But all of them leave us with the same question. Are these celebrities truly one of a kind? Or are they part of something that's happened before? Let us know in the comments. Which celebrity lookalike was the most shocking to you? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you don't miss more mind-bending videos just like this one. Because in a world where time, fame, and identity seem to blur, you never know who might turn up next.